Have you ever felt like you're walking a tightrope over an infinite sea of turbulence, at the mercy of your own emotions? We're exploring the core of this global conflict today. Imagine being so enmeshed in your emotions that you feel as if you are gradually forgetting who you are. It is a timeless tale that is as current as our everyday hardships. There is a secret to controlling the turmoil of our emotions that may be found in the echoes of the ancient Stoics and the epic stories of heroes like Anakin Skywalker. This is a useful manual for turning our worst concerns into opportunities for development and resiliency, not simply philosophy. Therefore, you're at the proper spot if you've ever been overtaken by your emotions, or if you're looking for a way to achieve emotional equilibrium. Together, we'll solve these puzzles and set out on a quest to take back control of our emotional landscape, prepared to transform your emotional struggles into triumphs. As we set off on this enlightening voyage, remember to press the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more informative material. Let's get started. And keep in mind that every second of this voyage matters, so watch it through to the conclusion without missing a beat. First step. Move away for a little. Taking a little pause is the first step in handling intense feelings and circumstances. Consider it like leaving a busy, noisy environment where the noise is so loud that you are unable to hear your own thoughts. It's about allowing oneself the room to think and feel more clearly, not about running away from your troubles. Seneca, the ancient Stoic philosopher, shared this belief and emphasized the need of withdrawing inside oneself in order to get perspective. You may begin to view things differently in this peaceful setting, away from the bustle and cacophony of everyday life. You may start to realize what's really upsetting you and why. This is about taking a minute to gather your thoughts and breathe, not about evading your issues. It's similar to seeing a painting from a distance, so you can see the whole thing instead of just a little portion of it. This idea is not novel nor exclusive to Stoic thought. Even the well-known Greek philosopher Aristotle stressed the need of introspection in leading a healthy existence. He believed that the foundation of all knowledge is self-awareness. You are engaging in self-reflection when you take a step back from a situation. You may also distress by taking a step back. A little pause might help you decompress and avoid making choices or saying anything you might later regret if you're feeling upset, disappointed, or overwhelmed. Recall that what counts is not what occurs to you, but rather how you respond to it, as the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said. You're allowing yourself the opportunity to respond more thoughtfully and methodically by stepping back. It's critical to realize that taking this step does not imply weakness or surrender. Rather, it is an indication of courage and intelligence. Recognizing when you need a break and allowing yourself to take one requires bravery. Another Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius, often discussed the need of understanding and controlling one's own thoughts and feelings. He believed that our pleasure is more influenced by how we respond to our circumstances than by the actual circumstances. Step 2. Consider your reasons after taking a time to step back. It's important to consider your reasons in depth. This is comparable to having to choose which way to lead a ship as its captain. Every choice you make has an impact on where you end up, and you are in control of your path. This is an opportunity to reflect on the impact of the people and circumstances in your life. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher renowned for his practical wisdom, highlighted the need of surrounding oneself with favorable influences. He urged us to examine our affiliations and choose those that best serve our personal development. You should thus pose some important questions to yourself in this phase. Does this person or circumstance help me develop, or does it hinder me? Do they make my life better, or are they a continual source of worry and negativity? This kind of introspection is not exclusive to Stoicism. According to the well-known quote from the ancient Greek philosopher Socrates, "A life without question is not worth living." According to him, the secret to living a meaningful life is knowing oneself and one's motives. You're learning important things about your life and relationships by looking at the reasons for your need to take a step back. Being truthful with oneself is the goal of this phase. It's about realizing how people and circumstances affect your mental and emotional health. You need the correct conditions to thrive, just as a plant requires the right conditions to grow. This does not imply that you should limit your search to good experiences. Obstacles are also necessary for development, but constructive difficulties that help you grow and negative circumstances that hinder you are two different things. Another Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius, often discussed the need of being aware of our connections and ideas. He believed that our experiences and how we respond to them are shaped by the mind. You are engaging in this awareness by thinking about why you are taking a step back. You're thinking about how your environment will affect your development and happiness in the long run, in addition to its immediate consequences. Asking for advice, or just talking to someone you really trust, is an important step in the process of self-discovery and emotional control. A talk with a trustworthy individual might be like a beacon of light in a dark room when you're caught up in a maze of emotions or a perplexing circumstance. They may assist you in seeing things from previously unconsidered perspectives. A good friend is like a mirror, according to Seneca, a Stoic philosopher who had a profound understanding of the complexities of the human mind. The excellent buddy reflects parts of your inner reality that you may not be aware of, just as a mirror reflects your outside look. The benefit of these discussions is that you might acquire viewpoints that are distinct from your first emotional reactions. It may be like being lost in a wilderness when you're engrossed in a circumstance. Not sure how to get out? Speaking with a trusted person is similar to finding a guide who can show you the way out of a wilderness. By providing insights or just listening, which can be very healing in and of itself, they may assist you in navigating through the uncertainty and emotional upheaval. This notion of looking beyond oneself is not exclusive to Stoicism. The search of truth and self-knowledge necessitates debate, according to the ancient Greek philosopher Socrates. He thought that we may learn more about ourselves and our circumstances by asking questions and having conversations. Similarly, when you speak with someone you trust, you're exploring not just the circumstance, but also your own emotions and ideas. Additionally, it's critical to carefully choose who you speak with. The individual should be able to listen to you without passing judgment, understand you, and provide thoughtful, practical suggestions. Aristotle discussed the value of friendship and how it contributes to leading a morally upright life in the framework of Western philosophy. True friends, in his opinion, support and nurture one another. Step 4. Limit your emotions. One of the most important parts of living a healthy and satisfying life is controlling our emotions. It's important to realize that emotions are a normal and inevitable aspect of who we are, much like ocean waves. Although we cannot prevent these waves from occurring, we can learn how to successfully navigate through them. According to the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, our perception of events is what disturbs us, not the events themselves. This demonstrates the control we have over our feelings. Consider your feelings to be a spectrum. There are tremendous, overpowering emotions on one end and serene, soft ones on the other. It's common to feel all of this spectrum, but it's important to avoid letting the strong feelings get the better of you and divert you. While it's important to recognize and comprehend your feelings, you need also establish boundaries to prevent them from controlling your behavior. Western philosophy also echoes the idea that we should control our responses rather than our emotions. For example, Plato spoke about the concept that reason is the charioteer and that it must govern the horses, appetites, and emotions. This metaphor effectively conveys the idea of controlling our emotions rather than letting them rule us, them sensibly and intelligently. Moreover, limiting your emotions does not imply ignoring or repressing them. It entails identifying them, comprehending their origin, and then choosing a deliberate course of action. The insight of another Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius, comes into play here. He believed that the mind had the capacity to build an inner stronghold where one may remain calm and logical in spite of external events. It's about striking a balance, experiencing all of your feelings without letting them consume you. You can learn to modify how you react to your emotions, much as a competent sailor understands how to navigate through high seas by modifying the sails and avoiding resistance. It involves being able to identify when an emotion is taking over and regaining control in a hard yet kind manner. It's important to consider the possible outcomes while making big choices, particularly when they require emotional distance or separation from someone. Consider what will happen if you follow through on a decision that might change your life or relationships. Will my choice end in regret and missed chances, or will it bring me serenity and personal development? This phase requires you to think about the long-term consequences of your actions in addition to the current ones. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, who is renowned for his insights on self-control and reflection, often stressed the need of having foresight and thinking through the effects of one's actions. He considered that logical reasoning may help people make difficult judgments in life. You participate in a process of logical assessment by foreseeing the possible results of your activities, which is essential for making informed judgments. Understanding how your choices affect those around you is just as important as self-interest in this reflection. Another Stoic philosopher, Seneca, emphasized the interdependence of interpersonal connections and the need of taking other people into account while making judgments. Consider how separating from someone will impact both your and their lives when you consider doing so. Will all parties benefit from this choice, or may it lead to needless suffering or miscommunication? Aristotle's idea of the golden mean, which promotes striking a balance between two extremes, may be used in this context in the context of Western philosophy. When making choices, particularly ones that are emotionally charged, try to find a compromise that respects the author's and your own well-being. It's about figuring out a way to make your life better without doing too much damage. Additionally, thinking back on prior experiences might serve as a useful roadmap for this procedure. Think back to instances when you had to make comparable choices and weigh the results. What knowledge did you gain? What effects did those choices have on your relationships and life? Make decisions right now by using these reflections as a compass. Step 6. Spend some time away from social media. Giving up social media for a while is one of the most beneficial things you can do for your mental and emotional health in the current world. Although social media sites like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and others have ingrained themselves into our everyday lives, they can also be overwhelming information sources and causes of tension and worry. Imagine social media as an unrelenting torrent on a peaceful lake. Every update or notice may be a drop of rain, disrupting your tranquility. You may restore tranquility to the surface of your mental lake by taking a vacation from these platforms. Stoic philosophy's principles resonate with the ancient idea of separating oneself from overpowering causes. Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius discussed the need of preserving inner serenity and preventing outside influences from upsetting it. He advocated letting go of the things we cannot control and concentrating on the ones we can. In contemporary words, we may not have control over the never-ending flow of material on social media, but we do have power over how we interact with it. Spend this time away from social media doing things that make you happy and calm. Reading a book, going outside, engaging in a pastime, or just taking in some quiet time might all fall under this category. The secret is to do things that give you more mental energy instead of taking it away. Eudaimonia, a phrase coined by Aristotle to describe a state of being centered on attaining the ultimate human good and leading a life of virtue and satisfaction, is consistent with this idea. Additionally, disconnecting from social media provides a chance to re-establish a connection with your local environment and yourself. It is simple to lose sight of the real, beautiful parts of life that are right in front of us while we are immersed in the virtual world. Another renowned philosopher, Plato, highlighted the significance of being in this world, significance of comprehending the surrounding reality rather than the reflections and shadows that we may mistake for it. This entails removing oneself from the carefully manicured and sometimes skewed online depictions of reality in order to enjoy and interact with the actual world in a setting of social media. Step 7. Pay attention to what you really need. Focusing on what is really necessary for your pleasure and development is the last, and maybe most important, stage in regulating your emotional well-being. This level involves self-reflection and determining what feeds your spirit and soul. Think of your existence as a garden. Your life needs a variety of components that support your emotional and personal development, just as a plant needs the proper ratio of sunshine, water, and nutrients to thrive. This method of concentrating on what you really need is similar to what Stoic thinkers like Marcus Aurelius taught. Aurelius often discussed getting rid of things that are superfluous and realizing what is important in life. He thought it was crucial to concentrate on the things that we can manage and that improve our well-being. This might include putting relationships that enrich you first, doing things that make you happy, and developing routines that promote both your physical and mental well-being. In a similar vein, another Stoic philosopher, Epictetus, stressed the need of distinguishing between our needs and wants. True freedom and pleasure, he said, come from wanting just what we can achieve, not from obtaining what we want. This might be interpreted in the contemporary sense as concentrating on your own principles and objectives, rather than being enmeshed in preconceived notions of pleasure and success. Furthermore, this action is consistent with Aristotle's notion of eudaimonia, which describes a state of well-being and well-being. According to Aristotle, reaching eudaimonia entails realizing your actual essence, which may be found by reflecting on yourself and figuring out what matters most to you. This entails recognizing and fostering your values, interests, and abilities. It also involves simplifying your life so that you can focus on the important things. Decluttering your actual surroundings might help you declutter your thoughts as well. It's about cutting down on the noise and distractions that divert you from your journey toward happiness and personal development. Focusing on what you really need is essentially about improving your awareness of who you are. It's about identifying what really makes you happy, content, and at peace, and prioritizing these things in your life. This is a continuous process of self-discovery and development rather than a one-time event. Your demands may alter as you develop, so it's critical to be adaptive and flexible in your strategy. Keep in mind that you create the foundation for a life that is not merely lived, but well lived, full of personal development and fulfillment, by providing your own garden with the things it really needs. As we conclude our trip together today, keep in mind that achieving emotional wellness is a lifetime journey of self-discovery, development, and resilience rather than just a set of stages. Every self-examination and choice to concentrate on what really matters is a step toward being a more contented and serene version of yourself. Your life depends on the love and care you give it, just like a gorgeous, one-of-a-kind garden. Thus, cultivate it with knowledge, compassion, and love. Keep these lessons in mind as you continue to sail the broad ocean of life, and never forget that you have the strength and resources to get through even the worst conditions. I now welcome you to see one of the playlists on the screen if you want to go more into this sea of learning and self-discovery. Every video serves as a lighthouse of wisdom and understanding, guiding you even farther on your journey of self-discovery and emotional control. Select the playlist, go on with your adventure, and let's both develop. Keep in mind that every stage of education and comprehension is a seed of knowledge ready to grow in the garden of life. The day is over now. Remember to give it a big thumbs up. To see our most recent material, share it and subscribe to the channel.